And here we go. Third try at this. Swear, third try at this. So today we had 4 games on the schedule, including a matinee game. I didn't do the review just for that game because that would involve doing a deep dive on that game. And I thought, you know what, I'll just give it a bit of a rest. There are 2 teams that are out of the playoffs, so the odds of this necessarily swinging the pendulum in any one direction probably pretty low, at least for today, for sure. And there's 3 other games, so it's not like it's a ton. And then tomorrow we've got a couple of matinee games, which means tonight I'll be doing the preview for those games, which meaning all 13. Because if I do the preview where I get up in the morning, I used to get up at like 7 and I would just start filming as soon as I got out of bed. And there were always comments about how I felt, I looked like I was tired or sick, or you need some time off or something. I'd be like, no, I just woke up. This is how I look when I just wake up. So now it has to be like about an hour and a half after I wake up before I start videos. It seems to make those comments go away. All right, first up from today is Anaheim and Rangers, which I rolled out of bed to watch today because I only had to watch it, so it didn't matter if I looked sick or tired. Or both. Rangers got an early power play. They would not score on that one. Power plays today were powerless. Lundqvist then stopped Delorier to keep it scoreless before Hedl would score a goal from Brendan Lemieux and Brady Shea at 7:14. Zibanejad then pressed to try to make it 2-0. Shortly thereafter, Howden would make it 2-0 from D'Angelo and Panarin, and on neither of these goals did Miller have much of a chance at all. So at 8:45, it's 2-0, and it looks like this could get out of hand. But Steele answers with a nice puck that he deflected out of the air from Kasha at 9:58. I still believe in Sam Steele. And it's a good thing, too, because today Anaheim had everybody out with the flu. They were so undermanned out there that I don't think this game necessarily is an indictment against Anaheim because a lot of their best players were out. Defense seemed to be optional at that point in the game. Then we go to some 4-on-4 play. During that 4-on-4, Chris Kreider on a nice steal would score at 12:16. That makes it 3-1. The shots heavily favored the Rangers, and the Rangers' pressure led to a power play before the end of the period. So it's 3-1 after 1, and it's pretty obvious that the Ducks are completely overmatched. Second period, the Ducks get an early power play. They don't get much pressure on it, and the Rangers were almost tripling the Ducks in shots at that point in the game. Almost triple. It was insane. There was a power play for the Rangers around the halfway mark. There was some back and forth action at 12 minutes. Miller was playing well despite already having given up 3 goals until Kreider would score from Zibanejad at 16:09. So that is the second goal of the game for Kreider. He played pretty well. It was the first point out of 2 that Zibanejad would get on the day. The Ducks get a late power play, which didn't go anywhere, but at the 20-minute mark, Brendan Lemieux got a little bit too involved in a scrum, and so that leads to 12 penalty minutes for him and a power play to start the third period for the Anaheim Ducks. So Brendan Lemieux being Brendan Lemieux and all that. But during that power play to start the period, Zibanejad scores a shorthanded goal from Ryan Strome at 1:16. So that shorthanded marker really was the last. I mean, they were done when it was 3-1. Let's be honest. This team did not have it in them today at all. Lundqvist then stopped Kasha, and Haley had a fight with Delorier. I think they said it was Delorier's 8th fight of the season so far. So at a time when everybody's sort of giving up on the whole fighting thing, it seems. Fighting is getting to historical lows. Delorier's trying to bring it back. Hedl then crashed into the boards, and he got hurt. It was an ugly-looking crash. I hope he's okay. It's one of those ones where he did go to the bench, but it's one of those things where you wonder if after the game it might act up or swell up on him. It looked like he hit his knee or maybe twisted his ankle. It was ugly-looking. So hopefully Hedl's okay, but the Rangers do win this one 5-1. Miller saved 36 out of 41. I thought he played fine. 5 goals against doesn't tell you the story with Miller. Lundqvist saved 19 out of 20 in the victory. He had a relatively easy day. Kreider, Zibanejad, and Howden are your 3 stars. The other thing Lundqvist had going for him is when you're playing with a lead, you can be more relaxed as a goaltender. Power plays 0 for 4 for Anaheim, 0 for 5 for the Rangers. The shots favored the Rangers in every period. 18-6 in the first, 12-7 in the second, 11-7 in the third. Final shots 41-20 in favor of the New York Rangers. And there you go. All right, next up, Arizona in against Detroit. You know what I did today? Put on a Detroit jersey before these games started. And I thought, you know what? It's Christmas in a few days. It'd be nice to be able to wear a jersey of a team that wears red, which I kind of ended up doing. But I decided to go with a white jersey instead because I haven't worn this one in a bit. We'll get to that game. But it was pretty obvious that the Wings jersey wasn't going to end up being the one I wore in the review. They did get a good start. They then got a power play. And they were the better team early, even though the shots were 7-7 at that point in the game. I thought the Wings looked like the team that had more jump, and they were playing with more desperation, and they should be because, look at their record. This is when pride kicks in, right? Ranta then robbed Dylan Larkin. So Ranta looked pretty darn good. And then it's the Clayton Keller show. He scores from Schmaltz and Ekman-Larsson at 13:25, and they enjoyed that mixture so much that it happened again. Keller from Schmaltz and Ekman-Larsson at 16:43. And the Arizona Coyotes up 2-0. And that second goal, Jimmy Howard can't let that through. That cannot happen. It was not a very good goal. It was funny, too, because the way that the Arizona announcers say it is they're like, yeah, everything's staying hot for Keller, and he's having a great game. And then in the next breath saying, but Howard should stop that. But, hey, Keller stays hot. Well, okay. So we're admitting Keller's a little bit lucky to get that second one, but it's 2-0, and at that point, I did ditch the Detroit jersey and change. And I put on that Jets jersey that I got today just to wear that for a little bit, even though I knew I wasn't going to wear that for the review. I go through a lot of jerseys in any given day. People have asked, how many jersey changes do you make a day? I don't know, 8. Probably about 8. Every Coyote shot seemed to be dangerous after that, and they knew it. So after that second goal went in, you could see that the Coyotes were going, all right, let's shoot from everywhere, because Howard doesn't have it. Schmaltz's line was fantastic in that first period. Second period, they would strike early. Soderberg from Keller at 39 seconds, so that's Keller's third point of the game. He had an amazing game. And that I put there, that likely sinks the Wings. They're down 3-0. This is a team that scores the least in the NHL and allows the most goals in the NHL. You can't do those two things. And they did both today. Crossbar for the Coyotes as they were trying to press for the fourth. And then Clayton Keller was shown coming back to block a Luke Glendening shot. So Keller playing at both ends of the ice, which is demanded by Rick Tocchet. Hall then hit the crossbar, and I'm like, okay, is Hall going to get that one today? And in the third, we get our answer. Coyotes were pushing for more early, and then Taylor Hall gets one from Osterley and Kessel at 5:41. So Taylor Hall now has a goal and 2 assists in 3 games as a member of the Coyotes. Playing the parade. The Wings then got a power play. They wouldn't score on that. However, Zadina would score an unassisted goal at 9 minutes and 59 seconds. So Philip Zadina continues to get goals here and there and points here and there. But Dvorak would answer 27 seconds later from Ekman-Larsson and Gross. So that's Gross's first NHL point in his first NHL game at 10:26 of the third. The Wings got another power play. They wouldn't score on it. But shortly thereafter, Bertuzzi from Biega and Nielsen at 15:31. Makes it look a little closer at 5-2. They're the only team that lost today that got 2 goals. All the other teams that lost today got 1. So there's that point of pride if you're a Detroit fan, I guess. And Bertuzzi and Zadina getting goals is good news. Ranta saved 28 out of 30. He did make a save today. Howard saves 40 out of 45. 3 stars are Keller, Ekman-Larsson, and Schmaltz. Because, of course, those are the 3 that combine on goals. That started this whole thing. Power plays, Arizona didn't need any, and Detroit didn't score on any. They were 0 for 3. Shots were 15-10 in favor of Arizona in the first, 13-7 Arizona in the second, and 17-13 Arizona in the third. They kept the pressure on, even when they had a big lead. Final shots 45-30 in favor of Arizona in a game that featured quite a bit of shots. Pretty entertaining game overall. I guess that's what you can take out of this as a Detroit fan, as they get 2 goals in the third, and it's an entertaining game. And we're already starting to hear... I've already started reading... I read a couple of articles today. There was one on the upcoming draft and how the draft lottery sucks because there's only a 50.6% chance of Detroit drafting in the top 3, and that's not fair. We're already starting that conversation, and we're not even halfway through the season. I love NHL media. I really, really do. Next up, notice I have not had that discussion because it's ridiculous to have right now. Calgary. So Dallas didn't have it, and it was obvious right off the bat. The Flames are up 3-0 in shots at 4 minutes into it. The shots were 4-1 at 9 minutes. The Stars were really slow in this. Now, Mangiapane scores from Lindholm and Tkachuk at 12 minutes and 11 seconds, and it felt like that woke the Stars up. That they realized, hey, we've got to get a win going into this break for us. Gurianov scores from Dowling and Hintz at 12:49. It's a tie game 38 seconds after the Flames got a lead. The Stars then got a power play, which turned into a 4-on-4. Some bad giveaways there. There was a really bad giveaway that nearly led to a Flames goal before the end of the first, but no harm, no foul. It's 1-1 going into the second. In the second, Stars are up 5-0 in shots early, and I thought, all right, so maybe the Stars have woke up. Maybe they can come back and win this. The Flames weren't generating shots. The first shot the Flames got was around 8 minutes into the period, but then they get a power play. And the penalty kill for Dallas, which has been really solid this year, not solid tonight. It's Matthew Tkachuk from Lindholm and Monahan at 12:28. They then get another power play. Monahan scores from Tkachuk and Lindholm at 14:21. So that's 2 power play goals that make it 3-1 going into the third. And I knew where this was going. In the third period, the Stars get a power play. Solid road game, though, for the Flames. Really, really solid. There was a scrum that broke out at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Poking at the goalie will do that. The Flames wound up with a power play out of all that, which Rick Bowness wasn't happy about. And they scored on it. Backlund from Ryan and Riddick at 10:21. Coach's challenge for goalie interference. And when I looked at the replay, I went, where? Like, does he touch the goalie? Yes. Did he have a right to the puck? Also, yes. The puck's in the crease. He was that. So, incidental contact, and the puck goes in. So that means power play for Calgary with less than 10 minutes left in the 3-goal lead. So they don't need to score on that power play. Just take 2 more minutes off the clock. It was a feisty game. These teams didn't like each other, but the Flames were the better team throughout this game. Great game for Riddick. Riddick has another solid outing. They pulled the goalie late because, okay. And then with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left at 17:56, Ryan scores a shorthanded goal into the empty net from Reeder and Giordano. So again, if you have Toby Reeder in your pool, you're losing because even with this point tonight, he doesn't have any points for you. You should rethink things. But yeah, Ryan, shorthanded goal, one of the easiest ones you're going to get because it's an empty netter. And Dallas, they blew it. 5-1. Calgary goes in there and takes care of him. Riddick saves 26 out of 27. Bishop saves 25 out of 29. Your 3 stars are Tkachuk, Riddick, and Lindholm. Power plays, Calgary went 3 for 5. That is absolutely unacceptable for the Dallas Stars, who were then 0 for 3 on the power play because their power play sucks. Now, shots were 9-7 Calgary in the first, 11 apiece in the second, and in the third, Calgary outshot them 10-9. Calgary was the better team. Final shots 30-27, and so for Dallas, there's some question marks with Dallas that I have about their ability to stay in a playoff spot right now. There's some inconsistency there I'm worried about. Last game of the night was Vegas in against San Jose. I'm really glad this is over for the year. And I'm being honest. The dislike between these two fan bases gets kind of obnoxious. And I'm glad that tonight's game, by comparison with some of the other ones we've seen, was pretty clean. There wasn't really a whole lot of really nasty kind of plays and big fights and all that. I mean, there was some physicality because that's the way these two teams play. But I'm really glad this feud's over for the rest of the season. We will not see San Jose and Vegas in the playoffs this year because San Jose's not going to the playoffs this year. I think with this loss and with Calgary winning, I think they're now 9 points out of the playoffs, as are the Anaheim Ducks. They're not going to end up in the playoffs either. It's a bizarre year, really. The Sharks made an early push, and then Evander Kane took a penalty at the other end of the ice. He takes offensive zone penalties. I know there's people who love Evander Kane. I think he takes too many penalties. I think it's a problem. Now, he didn't fly off the handle tonight. He didn't get thrown out of the game or anything, and he didn't. I didn't see him chirping the referees on either of the penalties he took tonight. But it's where he takes the penalties. It's when he takes the penalties that's the problem. There was a puck then that was through the Sharks' crease on the power play. Very fortunate for Sharks fans and for the Sharks team that I think it was through. I know Smith was one of them. I think Marchessault was the other one that went right next to them and they didn't see it. But Vegas was in control of the early play. and they were in control for a large portion of this game, especially that first period. Strong start for Pacioretty. Pacioretty looked pretty good tonight. Haig, we're waiting on that first goal for Haig. He hits a crossbar. You could see his dad was ready to celebrate his son's first goal, and it didn't end up happening, as Haig then hit both posts, and they were pretty sure that was going to go in. Late power play for the Vegas Golden Knights, and on that power play, it's Evander Kane that gets a chance shorthanded. He is denied by Malcolm Subban, who had a very good game tonight. Second period, Vegas applied early pressure. Joe Thornton was in alone on a weird puck bounce. He missed the net on that chance. They stated it's 46 games now since his last goal, although with this game, it's now up to 47. And people point out, they say, well, he's never known as a goal scorer. No, but this is still the longest drought of his career. Like Marleau coming out of tonight, he's now gone 11 games without a point. That's the longest drought he's had in his career. And when they point out people that are gone off the team, whether it's Donskoy, whether it's Pavelski, whether it's Nyquist, these are guys who provided them offense in the playoffs that's not there now. So when they're having their struggles with their goal scoring, they can't cover up for the fact that their goaltending has on most nights been suspect. Tonight, honestly, ironically, their goaltending was probably the best part of their game. Stone got a chance the other way after that Thornton chance. The Sharks end up getting a power play. Vegas killed it, got a power play of their own. Neither power play came through tonight. Subban and Dell were both the unlikely goaltending duel of the night. Very, very unlikely that those two guys, if I had told you at the start of the year we're going to have a game between Aaron Dell and Malcolm Subban, people would have predicted a score of like 7-5, 6-4. Stastny would get that goal tonight, so that's the first goal he's had in 12 games. Tuck and Zykov get the assists at 17:33. That's now 100 points in the career of Alex Tuck. So, congratulations on 100 points in his career thus far. Vegas then took a poke at Dell on the next play after that, and a scrum ensued, because that's what happens. Third period, there was pressure again by the Vegas Golden Knights, and Subban stopped LeBanc, but he couldn't stop them all. Couture would score from Burns and Hurdle at 3 minutes and 54 seconds, and it felt like San Jose got back into it. Like they went, all right, we can come back and win this. And there was some optimism with Vegas, or with San Jose against Vegas. And there was a two-pad stack that denied Tuck. I love that Dell did the two-pad stack tonight. That's great. You don't see that often enough because it really doesn't serve a whole lot of purpose for most shots. But when a goaltender does it and it works, it looks fantastic. Theodore, though, would score from Karlsson and Haig at 8:05. And if anybody wants to know why I love William Karlsson's game, all you have to do is watch how he made out on that play. Fantastic play by William Karlsson, and just amazing. Overall amazing play by William Karlsson, and that's why he's my favorite Golden Knight, and I think he's their best forward. And I know people don't agree with me. People say Stone, which is fine. I personally like Karlsson. Now, LeBanc forced a penalty soon after that. So Vegas was pushing, and then San Jose made their push, and LeBanc drew a penalty on Vegas. So strong play by LeBanc, who was robbed by Subban as well prior to that. There was then 4-on-4 play with 6 minutes and 57 seconds left. Turnovers were killing the Sharks late in this game. So I noticed Burns is one of the 3 stars. That defense, though, it was committing too many turnovers. There was one by Brendan Dillon that was just egregious. Absolutely egregious turnover that they were very lucky didn't end up in the net. However, Marchessault would score from Smith at 16:35, and that made it 3-1. And at that point, game's over. They pulled the goalie, and it became a 6-on-4 when they drew a power play, but the game was, for all intents and purposes, over. So, that being said, Burns ends up hitting a crossbar late in that game, but they weren't going to score 2. So the final score is 3-1. Subban saves 36 out of 37, so once San Jose got things going, Subban was fine. Dell saves 34 out of 37. Pretty solid night for him. His save percentage tonight was over 900, so he was definitely a good goaltender tonight. Subban, Burns, and Theodore are your 3 stars. Both teams went 0 for 3 on the power play. Shots were 13-7 in the first in favor of Vegas. 11-10 San Jose in the second. 20-14 San Jose in the third. Final shots 38-37. Like I said, I'm glad this feud's over with for the season, and we don't have to worry about it until next year. That's done. And I guess Vegas will have to find somebody else to hate, because San Jose's, they won't see San Jose again until next October at the earliest. That's about 10 months from now. So, yay. All right, there you go. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.